We were all hoping for more. If you watched the preview, we all picked Mississippi State to cover the 9.5. A couple of us predicted a win, but at least we were like, Georgia's not really pulled away from teams well this year. State can score the football pretty well. Hopefully we can limit that Georgia pass rush that's been bad all year. And a lot of those things did not come to fruition. And Georgia wins 41-21 in just an absolute blowout in Davis-Wade Stadium. Energy was gone quickly after about halftime, I would say. When you go for it on fourth down and you don't get it, and then they go down and score, and it's 3 possessions at halftime, it was like, well, crud. It's GG's. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
Sanders, you can go first, or I can go first.
I'll just
by Kittle.
Real quick. I'll just talk about that. Some of the stuff that like fans are complaining about, like that going for it on fourth down. I don't have a problem with that because he did the exact same thing against Arkansas, and we got it early in the game. We going to win that game. I think that's an outcome-based criticism and not a decision-based criticism.
I was criticizing before the play happened.
Really?
I have criticism about the way he went about it.
Well, then you go. I mean, I really don't have. I'm just frustrated, and I don't know what to do as a State fan because like Blake Shapen, Kamario Taylor.
We'll get into that whole discussion at some point.
We can get into that later.
Let me go first then.
Yeah, you take it away, JP.
Curious how bad the offensive line is. Georgia had just 8 sacks on the year, the worst in the Power 4, which would be 8 sacks is less than 1 sack a game at that point in the season. They had 3 sacks on Saturday. The Dogs cooked on that first drive, get the ball first drive all the way down the field. Who would have thought that Mississippi State would have the long, tantalizing drive first? And a drive that took more than 4 minutes. Dogs are 4 for 4 on third down on the first drive, again, just like the Arkansas game. And then 4 for 12 on third down the rest of the way. Georgia, what was the one thing I said scared me the most on Thursday's show? It was
long, sustained drives.
Long, sustained, tantalizing drives. Georgia only had one. 13 plays, 90 yards, 7 minutes for 7 points to go up 17-7. But they had short burst drives. They had long, dynamic plays the entire day. They had 6 drives under 3 minutes for 34 points.
Keep going. We can address comments later.
Okay. The true turning points in the game, and then it goes poor from there, are Blake's bad series after the fumble, recovery on the goal line, where Dylan Bell fumbles it. I don't think he fumbled it personally. Now, I watched it back and got a different high-definition view compared to what I was getting in the stadium. And I think, maybe you could say it was going loose.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as clear as, the Auburn-Georgia one.
I think it's...
where Jackson Arnold is going above, and it's like, oh, it's clearly going loose before it crosses the goal line. That can't be argued. We get it, the recovery anyway. Jerron Manning saved 7 points on that drive because Nate Frazier was about to score, and he pushes him out of bounds. After 2 good first downs where we're backed up inside the 5, one we got on the holding call where Anthony Evans probably could have had a touchdown, but there's a holding. And then the incredible play from Brennan Thompson where I think it was 3rd and 7. Brennan Thompson breaks 2 tackles, picks up the first down. We have 7-man protection after that Brennan Thompson first down. 7-man protection. Tight end and a halfback, Devon Booth, protecting pass blocking on first down. We're going to throw a shot. Georgia brings just 5 rushers. Bad blocking communication from right guard and center. Jackson Boone. Booth is left with a one-on-one. He wins the one-on-one.
Cannon Boone?
Cannon Boone, the center. Booth wins the one-on-one with the one guy, but here comes the second guy. Shapen just sits on the ball for way too long. We take a 14-yard sack. Then 2nd and 24 after the 14-yard sack. Shapen's immediately pressured. Probably has a touchdown to Anthony Evans. Open on the seam. Doesn't see it because he's forced to scramble out immediately. Still kind of has Anthony Evans open. Doesn't throw the ball for whatever reason. Picks up 4 running. 3rd and 20. Shapen steps up again and runs. And in a genuinely impossible scenario, he fumbles the football where he has the ball in his right hand, and he gets hit on his left hip, and the ball somehow comes out of his right hand diving. Shapen fumbles the football. State picks it up. Or not State, Georgia picks it up, I should say. And then Georgia has their touchdown drive where OPI, maybe. I wouldn't have called it personally. From what I saw on the field and even in the replay, I would not have called it.
I was too busy eating chips and dip at the tailgate, so I missed the replay, and then the chat blows up, and I was like, I think you asked me after if it was obvious OPI or someone did, and I was
think
like,
it was Win.
I'll be honest, I didn't catch it.
Distracted by the chips and dip. It's a obvious push off to some, not necessarily to me. They scored a touchdown. And then the fourth down series, after the long, tantalizing drive from Georgia, where it's 17-7. State picks up a few first downs. We're moving the ball once again. Shapen hits Anthony Evans on a beautiful dig route over the middle where Anthony Evans climbs the ladder, makes the catch, takes the contact, holds onto the football. We false start immediately after that with our left guard. We sub our left guard out for a new left guard immediately. Camario comes in. It's 1st and 15. Finally getting some Camario snaps. He had scored a touchdown earlier on the goal line. Quarterback draw. He picks up 3. And then he has the same route to Anthony Evans. He misses by a mile. There were no boos. I can report after he misses by a mile. 3rd and 12. Shapen comes in. He hits Aiden Williams on a short completion. And apparently we were setting up for a 4th down attempt because it was Levy's game plan to 4th and 7 or less. We were going for it. That's what he said in the post-game press conference. 4th and 7 or less. Kind of insane. If you ask me, I would have taken the points, and that's not even with hindsight. I would have taken the points sitting right there. I think everyone in the country probably would have taken the points. I think it's a little different to the 4th and 5 from the Arkansas game because we're down 7 at that point with under a minute
Yeah, but
left.
we're playing Georgia's offense.
I understand that. But given the last 2 to 3 drives, you got to put some points up. 10-17, maybe you get a stop before halftime, and you're not down 3 to 4 scores like we were the next time we touched the football. It's a 41-yard field goal attempt.
We hadn't stopped them yet. We got the one fumble on the 6-yard line, and you're saying...
Well, we did end up stopping them on that drive, and then they learn from their mistakes and they fake the punt, bring the offense back on, and they hard count and pick it up. We had forced a punt on that drive. So it would have been technically 10-17, kind of, going into halftime. Regardless, it's a 41-yard field goal attempt if we were to kick it. The offense stays out there. Levy, once again, runs up to the referee. He actually has his hands like this, right next to the referee. He's about to call timeout, and he doesn't call it. Shapen throws his to Bothwell in the flat on a pick route. Brennan Thompson is setting a pick route on a linebacker. Yes, 5'9" or 5'10", Brennan Thompson is setting a pick route on a 240-pound linebacker. He, of course, fails on the pick route, so even if Bothwell would have caught it, we were not picking up the first down. Levy said in the press conference he loved the call. We just got to go catch the ball. I don't know. I don't think he would have converted. I'm glad you loved the call, though. But again, you walked up there, didn't call the timeout. In a critical moment, it's near the end of the half. There's almost no reason to not call the timeout. It's, again, kind of a miss there on the mistake. Georgia then gets the penalty drive where we have the Deron Manning targeting, which, I don't know. If we want to discuss that one, I don't think it's targeting.
Here's what I said at the tailgate, because it's a vicious hit towards upper chest.
Absolutely.
And while I don't really think it's targeting, and this should not be how the SEC is going to call it, because a guy got knocked out, from an optic standpoint, they're going to call that targeting every time because they want to prove that they're all about player safety.
Yeah.
Like that target, like even if it was even more of a clear not targeting, they're just going to call that targeting because there's a player laying on the field knocked out.
I understand what you're trying to say.
And I'm not saying that's what they should do, but like I'm just not surprised at all.
I think it puts Deron Manning in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
Because
100%. People
if it was 15 years ago and that's not called targeting because targeting doesn't exist, That play was on 2nd and 9. It would have been 3rd and 9, and an even better chance for State to get a stop. Instead, it's a first down. Tony Mitchell gets called for PI on the bogus call. At this point, we've lost Isaac Smith and Jerron Manning, so we're down to just Brylan Lanier.
Yeah.
And Tony Mitchell is playing. And then State falls for what, like I said, Georgia fell for last year in the college football playoff against Notre Dame and in the Sugar Bowl, where Notre Dame brought the punt team on, sent them off the field, brought the offense on, hard counted the correct way, got the encroachment or the offside, got the first down. Kirby in Georgia does it, and in typical hand signal fashion with Georgia, apparently this season, he claps really freaking damn hard. Like really hard, which was a flag last week. I've forgotten which game. Was not called a flag, of course, where he is literally trying to sell the hard count with hard claps. That was flagged last week.
Well, it wasn't. The flag last week wasn't called because he clapped hard. The flag last week was because he like dipped his shoulders and moved. Clapping loud and clapping hard is
was
not a
doing
flag.
the exact same thing. He was doing the exact same thing.
I did not see the controversy last week, so I cannot chime in.
From my view. Regardless, though, we jumped offside. That's on us. And they go down and they score a touchdown on the screen route to Zachariah Branch. They score a touchdown to start the second half. Good ball game. Given all of that, I have 2 lists. And then we can get into George takeaways. But we start with State, of course, because this is a State pod. Here's what's undeniable. And these are just given facts. This team is... the words I used is much, much better.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny that from last year. We have athletes offensively. Secondary is really damn good. Jerron Manning, Isaac Smith, Kelly Jones.
Brylan Lanier.
Brylan Lanier has a comeback season after some really weird moments last year. Another thing that's undeniable, the uniforms look great. I'm sure they look
Completely
great.
agree.
Videoing them up close.
They look great.
The interlocking letters look awesome week after week. The maroon pops on camera. It really pops on camera. We look like a real deal team. I cannot wait. And if we mess this up, I'm going to take this one away and we can deny it. We have to have some gold in the Egg Bowl uniform. Do you know anything?
I have no pull on that. I know nothing about it.
Okay. We have to have some gold in the Egg Bowl uniform. And if that doesn't happen, I'm going to be pissed. Excuse me. Deep breath. Another thing that's undeniable, the crowd is amazing on TV. I don't know if you saw that as much. From when the stadium was full.
It was great for that first quarter.
It looks great on TV. The student section looks great on the TV. When, unfortunately, you are shown the poor part of the field the entire game because that's what is on camera when the camera is tilted up.
Yep.
Which is the poor side of the field is the damn faculty seats, the away student section, and the band, who at the end of the second half, the last 5 minutes, aren't there, so it's a full empty section. Yeah. When you aren't showing that, the stadium looks great. The cowbells are loud. You can hear them. You can't not hear them when you have the sound on, watching the football game. And another one, this is football team-wise, because we can actually give a football team one. Camario, if given the chance to start the last 2 games, will give us a great chance in both games. That dude is a bulldog. He's got a lot of cleaning up to do with the layups. But everyone loves him, and they love him for good reason, because he's super damn talented. Here's what has to be fixed. Faculty seating. And that's my number one because that's the one that's hurting me the most this year, is looking over on that other side of the field and there being so many away fans cheering. It wasn't that in the Arizona State game, but they also have to. It's like a 20-hour drive.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a 4-hour flight or a 3-hour flight from Starkville. That's bad. Band location, maybe that needs to be changed.
Where would you rather have? As a former band kid, that's one I am invested in emotionally. So what is the?
I just think it looks bad aesthetically when it feels like they're isolated over there. because to their left is just all the away fans. And so it feels like they're alone. They're at an away game is what it almost looks like and feels like.
Mm-hmm.
They feel so isolated. Above them, the seats really never fill in. And to their left is just all away fans. And I think there's a big, it looks like a decent sized gap between them and the student section. So it also doesn't feel like they're part of the student section, because the student section is silver metal versus the concrete color that is the stadium. So I think they're isolated there. Also with like when they have to go down for their performance at halftime, those last 5 minutes when they're not up there, it looks really weird.
Yeah.
And even at kickoff, it looks really weird because that is shown as the ball flies through the air to the end zone. So maybe that needs to be changed to the other side of the field. They won't ever do that. No reason to.
Functionally, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
Things need to be fixed on the team itself. Defensive line and linebacker play.
Yeah.
We
not offensive line. You think we're good there?
I haven't got to that yet.
Okay,
That's
cool.
my next one. It just needs to be so much more talented. The fact that we are at
going into game 11.
Going into game 11, and as you already know what I'm going to say, Whitson is still our leading sacker.
I think he's tied for first.
Tied with Malik Sila, if I'm not mistaken, at 2, which we love Malik Sila. But it just hurts to, as a State fan, we are known for defensive line, especially, and we're also known for linebacker play. And we don't have that. That's the weakest part of our team.
Linebacker? Defensive line?
Defensive line for sure.
Yeah.
And I think even in recent years, linebacker play has been
I like our linebacker play this year.
I'm fine with it. But
I like Zachary Tillman. I like Tyler Lockhart, and I like there's more that I can like. I like our linebacker play this year. I feel like coming into the season, I thought it was going to be our deepest room because we got the transfer from Texas. I think we got a transfer from Tennessee, both former 4-stars. We got not Tony Mitchell, Tyler Lockhart, a 4-star from Mississippi. Flipped him late. Like, I like our linebacker core, and maybe you've got issues with how it's played this year, but I think it's still young. So
that is where I have the issue. Where it's been. It feels like so much of the time it's the DBs and the safeties being forced to tackle in the run game. I just think we just need more talent there, and we have every right to do that.
I feel like there's a lot of, like, correct me if I'm wrong, there's more athleticism and speed in the linebacker core than there has been. But you need the Jimbo, like the Jet whatever.
Jet Johnson
or Stone Blanton that's just going to plug up the hole and get 15 tackles or 12 tackles or 15's
we don't
a
have
ton.
That.
But
we don't have any of those kinds of players that are going to consistently do that week over week. Of course, the offensive line play has to improve dramatically. It's hard to say that when you don't have both of your starting tackles at this point in the season.
I think we also started a new offensive guard.
We started a new offensive guard. We subbed offensive guards twice in this game on the other side. But Lebby, the one thing he harps on all the time is negative plays killing drives. How do you get negative plays? Bad offensive line play. Because you can't block in the run game, so you lose a yard in the run game, or you get sacked on first down like we did in this game.
Or you hold somebody.
And then the final one is fan sentiment, which is just a weekly reoccurrence, really a daily occurrence. Quit crying. And I'm gonna read from my statement because that's just easier. Quit questioning. Have some damn perspective. We all have the frustrations that we have. And I've given my rants this season on why we should have those frustrations. But if you don't know what you're talking about, then just shut up, please. And I speak a lot specifically to the students that I stand around the student section that question every single play when the ball is handed off and it doesn't look like the hole is there immediately. And the student behind you says, "What the fuck are we doing?" And then Devon Booth breaks it loose for 10 yards. Brother, quit drinking. When the 3 girls behind me see one negative play from Blake Shapen, and then he makes a big-time throw the next play, and we're cheering for the big-time throw, but the play before we were saying, get him out of the game! Get him out of the game! Bro, why are you even at the game? You clearly don't care. I hate seeing that week after week. And like I said earlier, every fan base is delusional.
100%.
That is fandom. But ours especially. And that is all I kind of have. We
Sure.
can get into specific conversations.
I think that all the conversations we're going to have are going to be addressed if we look at the chat and respond to some of the stuff being
Yeah, I
said there.
purposely haven't looked over there.
Sure.
Please update me on everything that's been said.
Let's see. Tucker said he's not mad. We weren't physically ready. The failed fourth down, jumping off sides. So, yeah, he's not mad about the game. The one thing I don't get, Zach saying it's hard to see Levy make these mistakes week after week. I feel like I didn't have that takeaway from yesterday's game.
Agreed. He only
has
had one
lost
moment.
us. He has lost us games, or we have lost games because of questionable decisions by Levy. But I don't get that takeaway from yesterday's game. I think the one moment you would say that would be the fourth down, going for it on fourth down, which I don't even question that. I don't have a huge problem with that because in hindsight, in foresight, Georgia has a very good offense, and we had to score a whole lot of points to hang with that offense. A field goal was not going to be enough to hang with Georgia's offense. You want to know, like, you remember the Ole Miss game where Georgia scored on, I believe, was it every possession?
Yes.
Well, they scored on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of their first, the number less than 8 possessions. So they scored on all but one of their first 7 possessions, including opening drive field goal, and then they get down and they fumble it on the 3-yard line, questionably, right? That was the one that may not have been a fumble, but there wasn't enough to overturn it. So that was almost another touchdown, and then 5 straight touchdowns after that. A field goal wasn't going to help us, and I think Levy knew that. I don't think Levy was expecting the defense to be able to hold this Georgia team to 20 points.
I understand that. I think just given the momentum of the game, take points there when you can't. It's 4th and 7 is what we were sitting in, and a 41-yard field goal with Kyle Ferry. It was on you for not picking up the yardage before that.
Yeah.
You can't control that anymore. If it's 4th and 4 or less, I'm all here for it. But it was a long 4th and I think it was actually 4th and 5. But it's
4th and 5 and change. It was a long 4th and 5.
It was not an easy pickup. And at that point in the game, you're really, really, really risking the game flipping on its head. Because when you don't convert it, exactly what happened yesterday happens. They go down, score 2 straight touchdowns, and you're down 24 points the next time you touch the football.
So you'd rather just be down 20 points with that field goal?
Yes.
It's also a momentum thing, though, of giving up the 4th down stop. You kick the field goal. Georgia does not come out and receive the kickoff with as much momentum. Then, boom, we got a 4th down stop. The whole sidelines fired up. The defensive guys are pounding their chests after making the tackle in the flat or when Booth drops, whatever. Like, there's definitely a momentum aspect there. And then also the defeatedness of, oh, dang, we didn't convert a 4th down.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think that we had a greater need for positive momentum against this Georgia team than we lost by not getting on a 4th down. Like, to beat this Georgia team, like JP said in the preview, this was our best chance to beat Georgia in all likelihood for a long time, maybe Levy's best chance ever. This is a down year for them. It's in Starkville. We have some momentum getting our first SEC win. It's a great opportunity. We still had to have a lot of momentum on our side, and getting 4th downs is a good way to do that. 4th and 5 with this offense is a down and distance that, like, Levy trusts his guys to be able to get. And so I don't hate going for it.
At this point, we're belaboring the point.
Yes,
We're just going to have to agree to disagree so we can move on.
The one for Zach, and I hope he's still here, saying that he doesn't feel that Levy is great at taking accountability. He says specifically he's not the best at taking accountability.
I think that's the one where I went.
For me personally, I guess you just haven't seen his post-game press conferences. And I won't get angry about that. I would go watch them, and even just watch the one from this game where he not often in it does he take accountability specifically with his words, but he's taking it with his actions and his emotions that he's showing.
Yeah.
All of the emotion is right there on his shoulders. You can see it. You can see the anger that he has in that moment. And at the end, he finally kind of, in the best way possible, takes huge accountability in saying that it sucks not being able to give the fans, again, what they showed out for, because they showed up.
Yeah.
The buzz was great around campus the entire week. And again, we have failed to give them what they want there. Sadly, that's been a reoccurring theme in Mississippi State sports.
Unfortunately.
If we don't win here in Starkville.
Yeah.
But I think he's done a great job at taking accountability. I don't disagree. I don't agree with you there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
Good.
I don't think that I would want a coach to, in a press conference, be like, "I made a lot of mistakes here. That's on me," because Jack said something that hadn't occurred to me after, I think, the Tennessee game. I was very frustrated because Lebby, made some decisions that ended up costing us the game potentially. And I was like, well, I want to hear what he has to say. And he didn't really apologize for any of it. And Jack was like, I don't want a coach that's going to second guess his decisions. Like, I want a coach who's confident. And I want him to not make those mistakes again, but I don't want him second guessing every decision he makes that turns out with a poor outcome. And so I don't want Lebby to go into press conferences and play by play, be like, oh yeah, that was a mistake by me. That was a poor decision. But you are right. The way he presents himself and the way those, I've watched all the press conferences except this last one. So I haven't seen this one yet, and I don't know if I'll go back and watch it just because I'm a little, the game was just a hurtful
You're
loss.
ready to move on.
I am ready to move on to
Sure.
next week, a winnable game, in my opinion. So,
Oh, wow. Sentiments changed.
Well, I think it was more me than anything. We'll get to that game.
No, we're both
sure on
dumbfounded
Thursday.
when I said that we were going to be 6-5 going to the Egg Bowl.
I thought every game was winnable. I didn't think we were going to win 2 of them.
We're going to win.
Yeah,
on
okay.
Saturday.
We'll get into that
we'll
at
get
a
into that
later
later.
date.
But yeah, that's my. I like Lebby. I've liked every press conference of his that I've watched. I like everything that I've seen from him on the field, and the way he interacts with the players on the field, post game, pre game. I like it all. I like Lebby a lot. Sure, sometimes his decisions end up going poorly. That's just kind of the reality. That's just, it is what it is, in my opinion.
I think it would be a disservice to stop talking about state without having this conversation, and that being the quarterbacks.
Oh,
Yes.
100%.
And I think we should also try to clip this into a TikTok as well. Also, this question night right after.
Yeah, the Monday presser is often more telling, or I don't know if when he does his midweek.
It's Monday, yeah.
I know.
Um,
He does a really good job at remembering what happened in the game, and that's something that a lot of I don't want to make that comparison because that's stupid. But competitors do a really good job at just
Yeah.
remembering what just happened and
Bro, I
remembering
am not a competitor
every
then.
specific moment that occurred, and can replay that to you in their thought process in those moments, right? Especially right after the game, they do a
Sure.
really, really good job at that.
At the same
Levy
time, though,
does that.
there's no way to catch everything. So there's
Yeah.
going to be a chance there's things he doesn't remember because he simply didn't see them in the moment.
Oh, yeah, you
that he can
also
go get back Monday.
You have a completely different view because he's down there on the field. He's not watching it through
Oh, yeah.
all of the camera lenses that
Yeah.
are catching
100%.
everything.
Okay.